Okay. Okay, so this is a couple of before and after pictures. The first one, and I actually showed this to my mom, and she said, "You're actually going to show that?" I'm like, "Well, but yeah, it has to be a drastic. They have to see where I was and where I'm at now." So the first picture was taken in June of 2018. I was going to a bridal shower for my daughter, and when I got that picture back and I looked at it, I thought, this is bad. This is really bad. I'm not pregnant there, just saying. I totally look like it. And then the second picture was taken in October. This was 2 months after starting to change my habits of health. So the first picture in the Flowerty was taken in June. I started changing my habits in August, and in October, that was what I looked like. And then the second one is a year difference. It was taken in another bridal shower in June of 2018, and then this was at baccalaureate just 2 months ago. So, and what I do want to express, that this really is not so much about what I look like on the outside. It's more of an internal change that I made. And when you get the inside right, the outside follows. But you still have to see that to be able to see the change, because we don't really see what's going on the inside. So the first habit of health that I started incorporating was eating 6 times a day. And I still do this. I started a program on August 28th of last year, and this was one of the very first things that I started incorporating. I eat 6 times a day, every 2 to 3 hours, so smaller meals and smaller portions. This stabilizes your blood sugar, and it keeps your insulin level under control. Before this, I was a 3-meal-a-day person. I would eat big meals 3 times a day, sometimes 2 meals, but what would happen, especially with me, with my blood sugar, I always had what they call low blood sugar, which means that your sugar will spike when you eat sugar or carbs, and then drop. And then when it drops, you get that shaky feeling. You feel like your palms may get sweaty, that kind of stuff. You feel like you can't think straight. And that's kind of the state that I lived in all the time. My blood sugar stays like this throughout the day. It may have a little bit of fluctuation, but for the most part, it stays like this. So my meals are low calorie, low glycemic, and that just means that on a chart of vegetables, like something that is high in carbs might be like rice or bread, pasta, that kind of stuff. I keep mine, I eat mostly lean protein and vegetables. Not that I don't ever indulge or choose to eat some of these other things, but for the most part, that's where I keep it. So again, it's lean protein, healthy fats and oils, green vegetables, healthy snacks, and condiments. And I think it's important to realize that every bite you take is either fighting disease or feeding it. And it is a conscious choice. And I think that's what we're going to talk about at the end, is it's all about choice. Everything is a choice. But everything you put in your mouth is fighting disease or feeding it. And I'm just going to tell you that I did a lot of feeding disease. And that's what I did before. The second thing is water consumption. I don't know if you realize, but most of us live in a dehydrated state, and I for sure did. We recommend a minimum of 64 ounces, which is 4 water bottles. And I was lucky if I had 1 water bottle a day. And now I actually drink around 96 ounces, somewhere between that and 100. But a fun fact, drinking at least 1 8-ounce glass of ice water burns 9.25 more calories than drinking a glass of room temperature water. So just keep that in mind, because I like my water room temperature. I'm not a big ice water, but hey, it burns more calories, so if you can, that's great. I recommend around 96 ounces, but don't wait until you're thirsty, because thirst is actually a late warning sign that you're already dehydrated. And most of us live that way. Reasons why drinking water is so important: it's calorie-free, it keeps you from overeating, it speeds up your metabolism, and helps your liver convert fat to energy. And what I tell my clients is get 4 water bottles out, put them on your counter every morning, and number them with a marker, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bottle number 1 has to be gone by 10 a.m., bottle number 2 is gone by noon, bottle number 3 is gone by 2 p.m., and bottle number 4 is gone by 4 p.m. Anything after that is gravy. But at least it's a way to help you keep track of what you're drinking, because that is important, and to continue doing it. So that's helped a lot of my clients. The third one is sleep. We really don't think about sleep as being a habit, and we don't think about that as something that's necessarily healthy or not. What is recommended for optimal health? Women, now I don't know why is this. Women, we get less sleep. What's the deal? 6 to 7 hours, and men 7 to 8 hours. But for me, honestly, I'm more like 8, sometimes 8.5. Everyone is different. So there's a growing body of evidence that links poor sleep habits to increased inflammation and increased risk of cardiovascular incident and obesity. And steps to healthy sleep, some things that you can start putting into place. Find your chronotype. People are like, what is a chronotype? Are you a lark or an owl? What that means is if you are a lark, you're someone that likes to be up earlier in the day. You function best earlier in the day, in the early hours of the morning. An owl, that's where we get you're a night owl from. That's someone who, goes to bed later, gets more done in the evenings. My husband tends to be a night owl. His energy level stays high all the time. So if you know him, you know that's the case. But he really enjoys the evenings. He likes to do things. His brain function is great in the evenings. Me, not so much. I am in the morning. I would say that my best activity is in the morning, especially if it's mental. So if it's something I've got to think about. All right, the next one is exercise. Maintaining optimal health is 80% what you eat and 20% exercise. And I will tell you that before I started making these changes, I had tried everything. I had gone gluten-free, and I had also tried exercise. I'm like, okay, exercise is the answer to all my problems. I've got to start exercising. I hired a personal trainer. I started working out several days a week, and I did this for 1.5 years, and I'm just telling you my own results, but I didn't lose a single pound, not one. And for those of you that don't like to exercise, like me, that can be very frustrating. And you're like, why am I doing this? I am not seeing any results. I don't feel any better than I did. I mean, I gained some muscle, but I didn't lose any weight. And I didn't lose any of the other symptoms that I was experiencing either. And this is what I learned. You cannot outrun the fork. Just going to leave that out there. So at the beginning, just simply get moving. If maybe you take a 30-minute walk, take the stairs, park farther away, take your dog for a walk, return your grocery cart. I saw something one time that said, no successful person leaves their grocery cart in the parking lot. So anyway, that's a pet peeve of mine. But hey, that's just one more way to get some extra steps in. A lot of people wear the Fitbits and things like that tell you how many steps, and you can make goals and increase those as well. Okay, so lower your stress. And I know we're all like, yeah, okay, but literally, how do I do that? Everyone says lower your stress, but how do we do that? De-stress your job. And my mom said, yeah, how do you do that? How do you de-stress your job? Well, a lot of our issues are communication. So maybe you beef up your communication. If you are the boss, maybe you learn how to delegate or eliminate things. But if you're not the boss, maybe you communicate with your boss. And maybe you're someone that, your schedule needs to change a little bit. Maybe they'll let you come in later, stay later, come in earlier, leave earlier, that kind of thing. So find ways to communicate. Exercise, get moving. Even better if you go outside and do it. Get outside, fish, swim, hunt, bike, hike, anything like that. Anything you can do to get out and be outdoors, be in nature. Get a massage. Hey, I get those, they're wonderful. But another way to lower your stress, laugh more often. Focus on the positive and stay away from negativity. And we're going to go back to that. A lot of this still all goes back to choice. Stop before responding. We live in a world where things are coming at us constantly, whether it's phone calls, people in our work, even family situations, whatever. People are coming and we've got things coming. But before we respond, we need to stop and think about it and really take a deep breath. Challenge your mind about why you're feeling the way that you're feeling right now, especially if this is a stressful situation. So we stop, we're thinking about it, we're going to challenge the way we feel. Is what we're feeling true? Because our emotions are not always true. It may be the way we feel at the moment, but sometimes we have to look at it. Is this really just our perception or is it truth? And then choose your ideal outcome. Choose what you want for the future. Choose what you want down the road, and then react, okay? And breathe deeply. These are all important things that help us de-stress. All right, and then I use 4 things in which to assist my clients. I assist them through coaching, education, community, and I use a nutritional-based program that offers ways to fuel their body, and that's what we call them fuelings. And that's the way that I help my clients. If you've got someone walking alongside of you that's guiding you, there to answer questions, that's holding you accountable, your chance of success is going to increase exponentially. So these are the ways in which I help my clients, but honestly, what it all boils down to is choice. We all have to make a choice. That, and I would say you have to have a why. For any change that you want to make in your life to better yourself, whether it's a career change, whether it's finances and you're trying to get debt-free, no matter what it is, your health, adding exercise, you have to have a why, because there's going to be days where you are discouraged and why am I doing this? Maybe you're not seeing the results that you want, whatever it may be. And so you've got to find that why, because if your why is not big enough, your excuses will be. So your why has to be bigger than your excuses. So sometimes that takes a little bit of self-reflection, which is very important in this as well. But here's the power of choice. Choice means it's your call, and you can do it or not. It's totally up to you. But nobody can do it for you. And I would say the most difficult thing that I find in walking my clients through this is sometimes I want it more than they do. And I can't want it for them. They have to want it. So choice is the power to make a decision. So today, if you could make a decision to add one habit of health, which one do you think would be the easiest? And it's going to be different for everybody. Maybe it's just, you know what, hey, I really like what she said about water, because dehydration does things to your body that we just don't think about. We're really not, I don't think, studied on that very well. Maybe it could just be, hey, I'm going to take the stairs. Whatever it might be, get moving, drink your water, get your sleep, start preparing your bedtime way before you actually go to sleep, and try to get that sleep in there. So that is my habits of disease to habits of health. Does anybody have any questions for me? And I will say that I have had several clients have great success. I just had someone reach their goal of 75 pounds. 75 pounds down from December to the beginning of June. Totally, yes. And I will say too, going back to when I was saying it's not just about the outside, a few things that I was suffering with that had nothing to do with the way I look on the outside. My blood work was terrible. My triglycerides at one point over the last few years had gotten up to 876. And I had my blood work done at the end of June, and my triglycerides were down to 111. And that's normal. And that's the first time they've been normal in my entire life. I started having blood work probably in my 20s when I was skinny. But you know, you can be skinny and not be healthy. And I was skinny, but I wasn't healthy. I may have looked healthy on the outside, but what was going on the inside was not. So blood work is one thing. My liver enzymes were way high. They're not quite normal yet, but they're almost normal. And my cholesterol, again, genetically, that's just something I'm going to struggle with no matter what I do. But it is way down. I think it was down to 218, that's really good for me. That's as low as it's been since my early 20s. So I may weigh the same now that I did in my early 20s, but now that I'm getting the inside right, I feel a lot different. I wasn't sleeping. I had no energy. I had joint pain all the time due to inflammation. And like, you wouldn't know it. I mean, I walked around and put a smile on my face and did what I had to do. You go, you do your job, you've got kids and, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, when you're at home, your family knows. In fact, my daughter said the other day, she's like, Mom, you know, you're really a lot different now. You're kind of a different person. You were a little grumpy. So, you know, your kids are going to be truthful with you. So, yeah, and so the way we are at home may not always be the way we are outside of the home. But anyway, so any questions? Yes,
First of all, I think it's really cruel of you to give this presentation right after we meet.
Yes. I know. They should have had me speak first. I know.
But secondly, do you get any credit on your liquid intake for coffee and tea?
No. I will say coffee is fine, but you don't get credit for that. Just straight water. And I drink about 96 ounces of water a day, but I still have at least 2 cups of coffee. Yes.
What does your eating schedule look like as far as eating 6 times a day?
I eat within 30 minutes of when I wake up. That's the first time that I eat. And then I set a timer on my phone, and that's the only way I can keep track of it. Every time I eat, I'll tell Siri, set a timer for 2.5 hours. And I know when that timer goes off, it's sort of like a reminder, and I know that within the next 30 minutes, I've got to eat again. So I'm not even, I know this sounds crazy, but it has transformed my life. It really has. And you can do it even when you travel. You know, people are like, oh, well, I'm traveling. It's still a choice. It's still a choice. And all I know is that I never want to go back to how I was feeling before. Because I'm 49, so just I'm going to share my age. I'll be 50 in January. And when I started this, I was 48, but I felt like I was 68. And I'm like, my parents are in better shape than me. This is ridiculous. What am I going to be like when I'm 68? I want to be like the young man over here. He's awesome at 77. I wouldn't have looked like that if I had stayed on the same path. So, so I changed all that. And you know what? Now I'm looking forward to 50. But I feel like I'm in my 20s now. So it's made all the difference. I do not have an office, but I do most of my stuff over the phone. Or if my clients like to meet face-to-face, I can meet uptown. We might meet at Starbucks or something like that. But that's usually the way I do most of my communication with my clients. But I actually had another client who was type 2 diabetic, insulin dependent for 5 years, is now off all medication, off all insulin. So her doctor was like, whatever you were doing, keep doing it. So it does work.
Is that the one that's saving all the money on?
Yes, she was spending $1,200 a month on insulin. That's a mortgage payment. Well, it is at least for us, the mortgage payment, $1,200 a month. So, yeah. So whatever she's paying for what I'm helping her with, she doesn't care. Because it's nowhere near $1,200 a month. I can tell you that, nowhere near that. So, but it's transformed her life. That's what she said. Diabetes no longer controls me. I want to control back of my life.